What's up guys, Julien and Miquel here of Social Vignerons and welcome to the 7th episode of the Tasting with Julien show. Very beautiful steak here. Today we're tasting the finest wines, the high-end wines of a famous Rioja producer that's from Spain. We're tasting the wines from Bodegas Muga. On the previous episode, I was tasting the best-selling wines of Bodegas Muga, a famous Rioja producer, tasting their white, their rosé and their red entry-level offering. You go and check out that video as well. I'll link in the description below. There is a presentation of the Bodegas Muga winery in that video as well. So if you want to learn more about the producer, go and check this out. If you're more interested in the best of the best, the high-end, the most expensive, the finest wines from that producer, stay tuned because I'm going to try them today with you and for you. Today I'm going to be tasting Bodegas Muga Reserva Especial, popular, cherished Prado Enea, top selection by Muga, which is called Torre, Muga, the Tower of Muga. I'm going to be starting with Bodegas Muga Seleccion Especial, special selection. So as the name indicates, this is the best selection of about 70% Tempranillo with about 20% Garnacha, so that's Grenache, and another 10% of Graciano and Masuelo, local grapes from Rioja. This is aged in total for 28 months in barrel, so this makes it a Gran Reserva Rioja wine. So big red wine, I can smell it just from pouring. Vintage 2012 here. Nose is big and punchy and super fruity. I'm actually surprised how vibrantly fruity and punchy and zesty, quite fresh this wine smells like. Dark chocolate, coffee, this is toasted, this is roasted. If you like a good caramelly coffee, there's definitely a lot of this to be smelled. 40% alcohol, so this is a big wine. What really strikes is the amount of acidity. A big wine, lots of tannins. They are very smooth though. The acidity in there is so sharp and so provides so much tension and freshness to the fruit carrot. Cooked cherry, cherry liqueur, blackberry, as well as this dark chocolate, the coffee, the caramel I was talking about before, this black pepper, a lot of spiciness that is all lifted up by the acidity. This to me is an easy 92 out of 100 points. Ready to drink now. You can age this probably for another 10 years easily. It'll develop more animal notes, more ashy characters, more savoriness. $40, I think this is an excellent buy. Moving on to Prado Enea, possibly the most famous, the most appreciated wine by Bodegas Muga. A blend of 80% Tempranillo, so there's a bit more Tempranillo than in the Seleccion Especial, and about 20% of Garnacha, Graciano and Masuelo. So generally speaking, the same typical Rioja blend. What's really special about this wine, and you can sort of tell because it comes in a burgundy shaped bottle rather than in a Bordeaux one. This wine is aged for about 12 months in oak vat, so in a wooden tank, but then a further 36 months, so 3 years in oak barrel, which is quite a long time. Not that many wines spend so long. I guess it's the typical long aging in barrel that you find in traditional Rioja wines. On top of that, it spends another 3 years of aging in the bottle at the winery before it's released. So that's a total of 7+ years of aging done for you at the winery before they sell the wine and they get the money. So that's a big investment. The idea here is to get a more as I understand, a more rounded, a wine that is more ready to drink when you buy it. So we are already talking and able to buy now the 2010 vintage, as opposed to most Riojas that you will find now, including Crianza or Reservas, being 2014 or 2015. This already has 8 years of aging for you when you buy it. So let's see what that tastes like. This wine retails for about $70, so we expect a bump in quality and refinement. Just as smelling it, it's more restrained, it appears more refined, the fruits are a little bit tamed, there's more spices coming through, spices like clove, the pepper here, while it was on the black side with the Seleccion Especial, the pepper here is more on the white side. There's clove, there's thyme, there's rosemary, a myriad variety of different spices together with charming red berry fruit characters. Tasting the wine confirms that, as opposed to the Seleccion Especial that is really big and in your face and punchy, Prado Enea is much more feminine, much more elegant. The fruit expression is more charming, more tamed. It's perhaps, you know, a bit fresher fruit as well. We're talking raspberry and red currant here. 2010 vintage here. I think this is certainly a 93 plus out of 100 wine. So we're going up in terms of refinement, in terms of length and complexity in there. So definitely at this point, this is worth $70 as opposed to $40. I guess it depends what you're looking for, but if you're looking for something that will go better with finer food, something a bit more complex and long, something that you can analyze for quite a long time, Prado Enea is really interesting, really delicious, and definitely getting into these high-end wines that are big and powerful, but also restrained and refined, and that talk to you for a long time when you taste them. And finally, the big boy, the Torre Muga. This is vintage 2014, which I believe was a great vintage in Rioja, so we're lucky. This retails about around $90. Massive color. This is really dark. Getting a lot of fresh and vibrant black currant character in this wine. So this actually smells really fresh, like when you squeeze a black currant in a really dark and ripe black currant, and you would smell it on your fingers. This is what it smells like. Dark chocolate, there's a hint of oak and vanilla, a bit of coconut, crisp, zesty red berry goodness that you can smell. It's really tempting to smell. Wow. Ooh. This is so good, so concentrated that you just want to keep it on your palate and keep analyzing it, and oh my god, I just want to go back to it. Where do we start with this? This is getting into the super fine high-end wines. This is super silky. It's big and powerful. They give it 14.5% alcohol, the others were 14, so it's even bigger. There's certainly a lot more tannins in there. The acidity is still very high, but god, it's so silky and harmonious on your palate. The fruit is jammy, powerful, punchy, warm, a lot going on in your palate. It delivers a lot of power, a lot of intensity, but this fresh and crisp, vibrant black currant freshness, the raspberry goodness in there is absolutely amazing. Torre Muga is only aged for 24 months in oak barrels, 18 of which are in new French oak barrels, so there is a lot of oak going into it, but surprisingly it doesn't spend as long in oak as Prado Enea. So this is meant to be a more modern style of Rioja, one that is more meant to be aged and perhaps a little bit less approachable in a young age. For me, this is a 95 out of 100 points wine, so a bit of a jump compared to the other two wines. This is getting into the 1% finest wines. This guy really has something special to say. This 2014 Torre Muga will age for 20 years. Easily, it'll get better and better and better in that period of time. I'm sure 30 years from now you can still open Torre Muga and get a lot of pleasure tasting it. So this is for collectors, this is for people that want the best of the best. It's such a delicious wine. A conclusion: if the Crianza, Reserva, Bodegas Muga that are tasted in the last video, which retails about $30–35, is not enough, is not good enough for you, go for the special selection, the Seleccion Especial for $40. This is an excellent big wine, big Rioja wine. It's got everything you want and you expect from a pretty good Rioja wine. Prado Enea gives you a sense of what Torre Muga can produce best. For $70, it's a great wine, and I assume that's why this is such a popular buy among Rioja amateurs. But if you want the best, and if you want to try something that is going to be among the best wines in Rioja, and you want to really experience what Bodegas Muga can make and what they're all about, Torre Muga is really good. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see more, what I should be talking more about. If you've liked this video, share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe. I do need more followers. Really one day, I have to admit, for tasting 14% plus alcohol wines, but something like that. And I will see you soon in the wine world with more episodes of Tasting with Julien. This is pretty much the best wine, the top of the range in Bodega Muga's offering, although there is one that is above that, that is called the Haro, which they haven't sent to me. I'm hoping they will, and I'm hoping I can taste that for you in a later episode.